Baseball season's a week away. How ready are you for the season right now?
I mean, super ready. We've been training all fall, all winter. We had a great group of guys. We're just excited to get on that plane on Wednesday and get going to Charlotte, get the season started.
Going on the road all the way across the country. I mean, you guys do a lot of team building as it is, but to just go out there for your first series, play a long one away from everybody. Is that kind of one of those interesting, fun things that a West Coast team doesn't get to do all that often? They can really start even build more on that on the chemistry.
Yeah, super fun. I mean, we're this group of guys looking forward to getting on that plane, being together for a while there. See who we sit next to, and just kind of it's always fun to go out there and experience things you don't experience all the time. Get out of the West Coast, go out to Charlotte, a place that I've personally never been before. Just with such a great group of guys, and we're excited to get going, play those games, but just kind of have those experiences together. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Offensively, you came on at the end of last year. What clicked for you?
I'd say just not letting the highs get too high and the lows get too low. I got to learn a lot of maturity. I was blessed to play a good amount as a freshman, be out there every day, and that kind of just taught me to be the same guy every day, and with that comes consistency, in my opinion. So I feel like it was kind of just staying level-headed and trusting myself, having that confidence in what I do, and that the results kind of came with that.
And now you're jumping to the world of the two-way player. What's the secret to success? Did not just make sure you're playing well, but just can get through a whole season.
Yeah, it's constant conversation with the coaching staff. They're great about hearing how I feel, having that open conversation about the day-to-day. Whether it's I'm throwing with the pitchers on one day, with the infielders another day, just that constant conversation. And then on top of that, it's just taking both of them equally serious. Getting my working with the pitchers, my mind's solely focused on that. When I'm with the position players and the hitters, solely focus on that, and just kind of putting the same effort into both every single day.
It's two very different mentalities.
Mm-hmm.
You have one at bat maybe doesn't go your way. You got to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
When you're on the mound, you're in control. The ball's in your hand on every pitch. Do those mindsets bleed over at all, or do you have to kind of find yourself playing two different characters out there?
Honestly, for me, the way I play the game, I'd say they do bleed over. I get a lot of adrenaline when I'm out there, whether I'm on the mound or coming up to hit. That's something I kind of use as an advantage. It kind of gets me going, gets me fired up. On the mound, adrenaline's pumping a little extra. But I'd say definitely the way I play the game, they both bleed over to each other, and I kind of like to harness that and use it to my advantage.
And this question is going to be inevitably coming, but how much of your dad's game is in you?
I'd say a lot of the mental side. Aside from just what we do on the field, that might be similar. I got to pick his brain a lot growing up, and even to this day. So I'd say kind of the little intricate things about the game that I got to learn through him have helped me a lot, getting to this point and hopefully beyond. I'd say aside from what's on the field, I got to learn a lot from him just as a man, as a leader, and those are things that I carry in my game to this day.
Do you ever give him a call asking for a swing tweak? Does he ever offer? Or you guys we're our own players, we got to keep that separate?
Yeah, so he's been great about he's not ever forcing me to think anything, to believe anything, to feel anything. It's always open conversation. He loves hearing how I feel, and then he'll give me some advice, then he'll talk about it, but he's never talking at me, and that's one thing I'm very grateful, and I'm very blessed to have him as a father, and obviously as a part-time baseball coach. He helps me with the little things, and yeah, it's always open conversation. He wants to hear how I'm feeling. From there, he played the game for a little bit, so he's got good advice he always gives me, and yeah, definitely blessed to have him as a resource.
There's a lot of talent on this team.
Yeah.
What's the ceiling for USD this year?
I mean, it starts with the WCC championship. That's the first goal we have. We talked about it since day one. Then from there, going to regional. We want to be the first team to go to a super regional, and then why not go to Omaha?
I don't know why not.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Somebody said the biggest jump comes from freshman to sophomore season for a college athlete. There's various theories as to why that is. Do you believe in that, and do you feel like that's something that's coming for you?
I do. I wholeheartedly believe that. I think that as a freshman, I got to learn a lot, as I mentioned, about the game. And also just aside from that, what makes me go. And, high school is a lot different than college, and I got to learn that pretty quickly. And yeah, it's just kind of staying level-headed. At the same time, one thing that I've been developing a lot is just that self-confidence. Going out there and believing that, I can get it done. I can get better every day. And most importantly, I can help the team win any given day, no matter how I'm feeling. So I feel like just kind of learning that and going through the ups and downs of last year, learning how to be more consistent, having a good fall and getting out here in the winter and putting that same work in with such a fun group of guys. I'm definitely excited to see how this year goes, not just for me, but for the squad as a whole.
In your mind, what are the maybe advantages and even disadvantages to being the son of a Hall of Famer and trying to follow the same footsteps in the same sport?
Honestly, I see it as a blessing only. I don't think there's any disadvantages so far, throughout my life. I don't think there are any in total. I think that I've had my dad as a great resource for me, not just for on the field stuff, but kind of how to go through a season mentally. Little things that most parents don't get to see that he can kind of point out that he sees on the field. So I mean, I talk to my dad pretty much every day. I like to pick his brain about little things, about things in my swing, defensive stuff, even on the pitching side. So yeah, I definitely think it's only positive for me, and it's helped me a lot get to this point.
How have you avoided the extra pressure that sometimes comes with other athletes
Yeah.
in your position?
For me, I kind of see it as like I understand that I'm my own player. I understand the narratives that people have and the idea of like filling someone's shoes. But my dad has also talked to me a lot throughout my whole life about I'm my own player. Like he always told me like you don't have to play baseball. Like it's something that I love. I grew up loving, and playing baseball is ultimately my decision. I kind of loved it since I was a little baby, and even to this point, like it's still that conversation where it's like he told me from a young age, like, is this what you want to do? And I said, yeah, like this is what I want to do with my life, and I want to play it as long as I can and hopefully get to that next level. So I think that was huge too, just understanding that I'm my own player, I play my own game, and despite narratives that people have or the idea of filling someone's shoes, like I understand that, to a high degree.
How did you end up at USD?
I mean, first it started with talking to the coaching staff, coming and visiting here. I mean, you can't really beat the city of San Diego. On top of that, it's a winning program. They have guys getting drafted every year. They compete every year, win a lot of WCC championships. And the biggest thing we talk about, like in meetings, is like the reason we came here is to win. And that was kind of the forefront of everything. Being able to have an opportunity and an opportunity to win were the two biggest things for me. Close enough to home, not too far from home. So it kind of was just the perfect mix of everything I was looking for.
How motivating is that as a player to come to a program and know that everyone is on the same mindset
Yeah.
as you guys go for a third straight?
It's super motivating. I mean, just having that team first mindset, it's easy to play for a program like this where you understand all 34, 35 guys, they want to win just as bad as you do. Whether you're out there every day, you're not out there every day, everyone's kind of pulling on the same string. And yeah, it's just a winning culture is a big thing here, and that's what I love about it.
And one of the cool things about a college program, it's always evolving, right? So you get to put your own legacy, you and your teammates, into this season.
Yeah.
How much is that on your guys' mind, knowing that you might be the guys that set up the next best recruits to
Yeah.
come here?
Yeah, I think it's a big thing on our mind. At the same time, we understand that it's about having fun, and we come out here every day, and that was a big thing about last season, that when we started showing up, having fun, enjoying each other, that's when our seasons kind of started to turn around, and we found that success. So I think it's just having that mindset from day one here, where it's like not letting too much pressure get a hold of us, but at the same time understanding what we're expected to do. On top of that, being able to like overcome that and just do it.
And being a two-way player, you get to be with the pitchers and the
Yeah.
hitters. Who has the most fun then?
Okay. I'm gonna do the easy answer and say both. I mean, it's different. It's different. Pitchers do a little less at practice. They get their stuff done. They do their throwing groups, or I should say, we do our throwing groups. Then with the position guys, it's a little more of a busy day. But I'd say we all find our fun with each other. Pitchers have a lot of fun, and I have a lot of fun with the hitters as well.
And being an athlete, I'm sure, ultimate competitor, right? You always want to be out there.
Yeah.
How do you juggle knowing that you might need a rest because you are going so hard going on both sides?
I personally don't like to believe I'll need a rest. I want to be out there every single day, whether I pitched on a Friday and I can be out there playing the field on Saturday. Obviously, like I can't foresee the future, how my arm might feel after a certain day, but I don't plan on like needing a rest. Obviously having that constant conversation with the coaches about how my body might be feeling, but I know that they trust me, and I'm hoping that my body's feeling good every single day, and I want to be able to play every single day. So that's the biggest thing for me.
How mentally strong do you have to be for that then? Because obviously baseball gets the best of everybody, where you could get the best taken out of you on the mound and
Yeah.
at the plate. How strong do you have to be that just trust your process for both sides?
I think to play this game at this level, you already have to be mentally strong, and I think that that's something that I have and everyone in this program has. So, just to have the opportunity to play every day and be healthy, like if I'm healthy, I want to be out there and just help the team win. So I'd say definitely have to be mentally strong at this level. But, on the only difference is two ways. Yeah, you're doing it on both sides of the ball, but, I'd like to be out there in any given day.
You get to watch Austin Smith do that last year. How much did you learn from him?
I learned a lot from him. I was always picking his brain. I was always around him in throwing groups, kind of, just asking him how he manages it, how he finds success, because there's not much of a better role model at the college level than a guy like Austin Smith. So I was honestly around him a lot. Had a lot of conversations with him about, like when your arm feels like this, like how do you go out there and play the field? Kind of just asking him about, like picking his brain about hitting stuff. And on top of that, learning more about the pitching side. So he was a great role model for me. I still talk to him to this day, and I think that he was a big help for me last year, especially being a freshman.
What feels better, hitting a bomb or punching somebody out?
I mean, I've been hitting my whole life, so I'll have to go with hitting a bomb. The pitching side came a little later, but I mean, striking someone out is sick, but I got to go with hitting a bomb.
Anything else, Adrian?
They're more rare.
Go ahead.
What was your primary focus for your off-season work this year, between seasons?
Yeah, the biggest thing, I was sent out to the Northwoods League, which is a great league. I got to have a lot of at-bats, face a lot of different type of arms. The biggest thing for me on the hitting side was consistency. One thing that I wanted to do was if I have 3 good games in a row, why can't I have a 4th? Or why can't I have a 5th? And I feel like in baseball, it's really easy to kind of feel when's this hot streak going to end, or when am I going to not feel this good? So that was one thing I wanted to eliminate. I was out there every day being able to play. And I feel like I definitely took that next step forward where it's even if I don't feel 100%, no one ever feels 100% every single day. So it's kind of just competing with what you have and just doing your best to, put the negative thoughts aside and just compete every day.
And do you have a road roommate that signed already?
I don't know who my road roommate is, but
What are you hoping for?
Coach?
yeah, he probably knows what I don't. Honestly,
Who are you hoping for?
DVD.
I'm not picky. I mean, I love all these boys, so I think even the guys who you might be closest with, sometimes it's better to get a guy who is still your brother, but you don't get to hang around that much. So I think I can't go wrong. I don't care who I get.
And what's your favorite class right now?
That's a good question. My favorite class. Let me think about this. I'm in a marketing class. It's on Monday nights. It's pretty long, but I think our professor does a really good job of making it interactive. So he was a marketer in the marketing business for a while, and he kind of uses his life experiences to teach the class. I have a couple teammates in that class too, which makes it fun. So I'd have to go with my marketing class.
All right, back from injury. What was that like, and what was the recovery from, and how do you feel now?
It was definitely at first a little heartbreaking to hear, especially when you're kind of in the midst of a playoff run. You unfortunately have to miss out on it. And then it becomes a quick realization that you need to flip the script, and coming into the fall of 24 and then the season of 25, it's a little bit of a different role than I had been in the years past. Unfortunately, I'm not able to play, so you kind of have to flip the script, and you're in more of a player-coach dynamic, having been here for my 5th year and kind of knowing how the program is run. So you're learning a lot more on the coaching side, the teaching side, how to kind of prep, especially when you have 22 new guys at the time. You're teaching culture, you're teaching preparation, you're teaching how things are run in a very unique program. You go from there, and then on top of that, you're doing rehab twice, 3 times a week, lifting schedule, still going to practice, and I'm still working on making a return. So it's a little bit of a switch up and a lot to handle at first, but you kind of just take it in stride and run with it. Really, there's nothing you can do. It's out of your control. And at that point in time, you're just looking at what you can do to get better and get back on the field as quickly as you can.
You have been a bullpen weapon the first few years. Is that you going to stay in that role, or are you going to get in the starting rotation this year?
I believe I'm making the switch. I'll be hopefully in the weekend rotation. We'll see where that goes, but I believe I'll start out somewhere there to begin the season, then wherever I end up, I end up.
So your junior year, 41 punch-outs, 22 2/3 innings. What's the put-away pitch, and did you have any trouble finding the feel for it, again, as you were going through the rehab process?
The put-away pitch, I believe that year was my fastball. I got a lot of whiffs. I'm sticking with it. Even as a starter, I'm still throwing it a lot. I've learned how to throw a couple new pitches, which has helped out. Decrease the pitch count a little bit, helped me go into later in games, but I'm still running. Fastball's my bread and butter.
4-seam, 2-seam?
4-seam, yeah.
That's kind of the old school, here it is, hit it. You like that mentality?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, we kind of got into a spot in that 24 season where catcher was setting up middle, I was throwing it at his mask, and I was ultimately let the guy hit it. And then I found success in that. Obviously, I had some off speed that helped me set that pitch up to have it as a put-away pitch. But I was, here it comes, go get it, and found results with that.
Is it a spin rate thing or a straight velo thing for you?
Velo's, I wouldn't say too crazy. I'd say it probably has to do with the way it moves. And I produce a lot of vertical break with it, which perception to the hitter is a little different. So it tends to get a little more whiffs up in the zone. So, yeah, kind of.
Why'd you want to come back here and come back and get in the starting rotation and play with this particular group of guys? How important is it to you to come back and be not only just the culture setter, but now actually part of the guy on the field again?
I mean, this was my home. I really admire the coaching staff in 2-5. He's had my back from even before I stepped on campus until through all my injuries, like literally everything. I can't say enough good words about the human being he is and who he has been for me. Great mentor, great coach, just a great person. I admire our relationship, and I'm a loyal guy. He's a loyal guy, and I appreciate that. And it's kind of like 24, I didn't get to finish the season, so I view it as my job's not done. And I have something more to prove, and I believe this is the place, my home, that I need to do that.
Tell us about the mustache.
For sure, we're allowed to have one. I've been pushing for it. I've been in 2.5's ear about it since my sophomore season. Kind of gives us a little bit of a personality, and I took it and I ran with it. I'm stoked we can have one, and I couldn't say enough. I mean, I did a lot to get it, hopefully, but I love it now.
Why did you choose that particular style?
We still have some guidelines with it. So I got to play out in the Cape in summer, and I had kind of like a Fu Manchu, kind of like down here. It's very thick, but we had some guidelines, so it has to be shaved at the crease of the lip. And so I figured a way that I could kind of get some wax in there and put my own twist on it.
So you basically went from goose gossage to raw
Hey,
fingers.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
I was running. I'd be like in the bullpen in the Cape, walking through the backfields, and I'd get a lot like, "You look like Goose," and I was like, "I love that." I mean, he was a power reliever back in the day for the Padres, and then figured out I could twist it a little bit, and now I've been telling everyone I'm going bring it back to Raleigh. That's what I've been saying.
2 All-Famers, not about a couple choices.
No, not at all. Not at all. I love it. Yeah.
You guys are going for 3 straight in the West Coast Conference title. How much does that obviously matter for you guys, not just for your accomplishments for the year, but also building this program to what it wants to be?
I mean, it means everything. I mean, I've been here, unfortunately, in my 5 years so far, I've got 3 numbers on that wall. And coming out here with 4 and 6, obviously, is a goal. But to do 3 years, I don't know how many teams in the WCC, if any, have done that. So I feel like you always talk about coming into a place and leaving it better than you found it. And walking out of here, I'm a firm believer that obviously numbers on the wall help a lot, but the culture, being a great teammate, great person, leaves the program a lot better than you found it. And I'm a firm believer, hey, we're going to go out there, we're going to do our best. Obviously, that's the goal. When you look back after all the hard work you've put in and year out, it's good to look up on that wall in right field and see those numbers because they really put a result. And you're not looking for results, but it puts a result to the process that you put in.
College baseball is so interesting because you have like a weekend starter, a Friday starter. Being able to be in that role and have that responsibility for the team, what does that mean for you to get that opportunity?
I mean, it means everything. Obviously, I'm excited. You're setting the tone. Come on into that weekend. It's big to get a Friday night dub, Saturday night dub, wherever you're pitching. But it's really just about setting the tone for the weekend. And you're kind of landing that first punch in a dogfight. You're hitting first, and then you're not letting that guy get back up. You're trying to put a team away for the weekend on that first day and let them know that you're coming in here to essentially beat them and come out with a sweep.
What's your mentality on the mound? How would you describe yourself?
I feel like it's changed a little bit. Coming from that back end of a closer role, you're letting the emotions of the game kind of not predict your outcome, but you're letting it influence your outcome. And so when you're coming into a start, you're trying to get. I'm trying to go out there and I'm trying to finish the game from first pitch. I'm not trying to get taken out in the 5th. I'm going in there. I'm letting it eat from pitch 1 to whenever I get pulled. But whenever that is, like I'm wanting my team to come out with the dub. So however, I don't need as many punch outs. I can get ground balls, fly balls. As long as I'm producing an outcome within 4 pitches, I'm excited.
You were removed with your injury from the team in a sense of being on the field. What did you learn about yourself the most being in that kind of player-coach role?
You learn a lot more about, I'd say, patience. I feel like you learn how to listen. You learn how to kind of interpret that player-to-coach relationship in a different role because you're kind of the middleman in that situation. And you're learning how communication as well as, like, I'm a player, I'm just like you guys, but you don't want to necessarily create that divide between a team when you can't really help on the field. So you're more so helping from a vocal role, which is a little weird as a player. But I mean, it kind of goes with like back in the day, you're talking about like culture, or not back in the day, but back you're talking about culture, and you're really just focusing on building that and instilling those values that the coaches have instilled in me, and just going off of my memory and how I view what they want me to do.
What is it, the aspect, or the element of this team that's going to put it in Omaha for the first time?
I think the grit. We're a very gritty group of guys. We don't really care about the results. We're coming in, we're getting our work in, we're preparing. We're all about the process, and we're blue collar. We're letting that process take care of the results on the field. So I feel like sometimes, hey, you might get hit in the mouth early, but we're going to hit you 2 times harder, and we're going to get back up, smile with some blood in our mouth, and we're going to chomp right back at you.
Just make sure we have it proper. How do you pronounce your last name?
Frize.
Frize. Thank
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Anything, Mike?
Yeah, is there a particular series you're looking forward to, or a particular hitter you're looking forward to facing, or a pitcher that you're looking forward to opposing?
No, I mean, not off the top of my head. I'm excited just to kind of be out on the field, especially after having that year last year. I mean, every moment, especially now that it's officially my last year. I'm honestly just excited to go into every weekend and have like a little bit of a different perspective. I'm a lot more appreciative, and game's a little bit more slowed down than it used to be, so kind of just taking that and running with it.
Is there one hitter in the conference who stands out that you'd identify as you think the conference's best hitter, whether on our team or another team?
No, I think there's a lot of competition within the WCC, especially since a lot of guys are now transferring in and out. So it's become, from when I first got in here, it looks a little different because you used to have a lot of the guys staying around. And now there's a bunch of turnover year to year, so you really don't know who is going to be that guy. You obviously see the preseason names, but I don't really pay too much attention to those guys because it is the preseason and there's a long season ahead, so you can't really take those names too much into account.
Going back, how long is this off season? And now, much of you guys chomp at the bit to get one that counts in a week.
Yeah, we're excited to be back. I mean, the off season, with the transfer portal to fall practice, it does go by fast, and I think in this day in college athletics, and especially with our program, it's always like next, right? Be in the moment, be present, but next, because it's so fluid, and our assistant coaches just did an incredible job this summer. We brought in 15 transfers in a matter of about 6 weeks. So it's a real thing. It's a benefit to our program. And your toes got to keep tapping with this portal. So I'm happy about our club competing next week.
You guys seem to always have more coming in than going out. What is it about? Is it the culture? Is it the atmosphere? What is it that makes guys want to stick around here for so long?
Yeah, you hope. I mean, you try to control what you can control, and what we can't control is the type of guys we get to bring in that are talented, but that are hungry and humble as well, that want to be a part of a team, that want to be a part of winning. But that's in everything that they do, right? That's in the classroom, that's in the community of San Diego. We demand a lot. We demand a lot out of them. It's not just what they do on the field, how they are as people, growing them as men so they're ready for society when they get out of this program. And if we can focus on that and attract, the right type of individual, we hope that allows to keep them here at the University of San Diego.
So philosophical question. You have a culture here. You've obviously set that and built that. Every team, though, is a little bit different, has its own little personality. So how much do you maybe alter the culture to the personality of the guys that you have versus going out and finding guys who has a personality to fit in the culture you want to have here?
I love that question because, again, we have 11 months pretty much that we have with these guys because of the portal. You don't know who's coming. You don't know who's going. So the first team meeting, September 1st, if you will, we'll talk about family. Family is our first core value, and we're a family for 11 months because of the fluidity. With that being said, Tony Gwynn used to always talk about when I played for him, hey, you got to know who you is. We talk about that all the time. And allowing our guys to be themselves within the confines of our program, within the boundaries of our program and our core values, I think is paramount, right? And allowing them to have a personality, allowing them to dance, allowing them to sing, allow them to be themselves when they walk through the gates of Fowler Park, allows them to be comfortable, right? And I think that's something to be said within. You got to have a personality, in my opinion. You got to have a personality playing sports, playing athletics, and when you're able to have a personality and be yourself, especially a positive attitude, then I think you can achieve anything.
Is that the secret to keep on winning the WCC every year?
It's our secret. I mean, again, going to control what we can control. You got to have fun playing this game. This game is extremely hard. I think it teaches you a lot about life. It teaches you about resilience, perseverance. And if we can bring that energy as a coaching staff, as a support staff every day, I know our players do, whether in the weight room, the training room, campus, you name it, the community, out doing free Little League clinics. Those guys are giving everything they have to those kids and everything they have on that field, and they have the pride of wearing the San Diego across their chest. So if we can stick to that and control that, then I think that we'll be able to attain what we want to attain, which is a WCC title, advance to our regional, and do some damage in the tournament.
You got Adrian Beltre here. What is from a manager's perspective, what's the most difficult part of keeping tabs on a talented two-way player throughout the course of the season to make sure that he's healthy and effective?
Yeah, you heard it earlier. How's your arm doing? Ask him every day and jiving, and really get to know your players, right? Everybody's different. But as a coach, I think it's extremely important to really get to know how each player ticks. It's easy to go out there and put a blank canvas and put like a cookie cutter, idea in place with all your players. That's easy to do, but really getting to take the time to be genuine and authentic and real with your players so that you get real answers back and not just the facade and the fake answers. So, it takes a lot of time. We pride ourselves in doing that as a coaching staff, but that's the most important thing, and really getting to know how he ticks versus Drake Frize versus Austin Smith that you talked about, and so on and so forth. So, with him and Jaden Lobliner and a lot of these guys, they want to go. They're horses. They want to go. They want to run. So you got to protect them from themselves. And also as a coach, you don't want to get in their way either, and you got to let them go.
Adrian's clearly an impressive young man. What does someone of that lineage help bring to a program like USD?
100%. I think, you sit down the recruiting process with him and Adrian Sr. and Sandra, the first thing that they did is they put Junior in front. They didn't talk for him. He's his own person. I think he mentioned that, and it's the truth. He's his own personality. Got to be around, obviously, Tony Gwynn, Hall of Famer, and now being around, Adrian Sr., and it's really neat to see how it's very similar. Both of them are very humble. They treat you with respect. They don't get in the way, and I think they've done a great job raising Adrian, because the most important thing for the family was, how are you going to take care of my son as a person in school? How are you going to take care of him as a coach? Not, what are you going to do to help him with hitting? What are you going to do on the mound and coach him to be? And that told me everything I needed to know, because it's more than just baseball, and there's no induced pressure put on him. So when you have an individual like that who excels in the classroom, you can see his personality is off the charts. I'll be the first one to tell you that, he is as humble as they come, and I think that's gives him a lot of credit what he does on that field.
I know Omaha's always the goal, but is it realistic? I mean, long time, San Diego State's not gotten there, USD's not gotten there. Is that a realistic goal?
Anything's realistic, You can't think about it. It's always a dream. But you got to take care of one day, one pitch at a time, if you want, one day at a time. And the first thing that we get to take care of is that first goal, and that's winning the WCC, because you can't win that and then try to make it to Omaha. So anything's possible.
You talked about there not being pressure from his family, but obviously with his name, there's going to be pressure from every headline, right? How do you approach that as a coach when you want him to do what he wants to do, which is be his own ball player?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the strength of the culture. We got to focus on us, the inside, us as a family, as a core, as a unit. And that message is constant every day. I mean, we're constantly talking about, the noise, the outside noise. We bring up, a lot of the winning teams out there. It's really great to watch Indiana this year and how they won the national title, and you could always sense that they were so process driven. It's something we pride in our program here, and if we really focus on us, not the opponent, not the outside noise, and what we do day in and day out, really believe in the work and the preparation that these guys put in each and every day. I mean, I really firmly believe our guys believe that. And the good thing about it too is last year they got to see that, going 6-24 to start the year, totally turning around, win 24 out of 26 games and win a WCC title. They got to see that adversity and know how to get through that hey, there's no flinch. You heard Drake talk about it. There's no flinch. Go ahead. We know we're going to get that the best shot taken. So it's about how we respond with that and really focus on our program and each other.
With a guy like Adrian, obviously genetics are there. I mean, he's an athlete. But how big a factor is it that he's been around clubhouses? He's been around baseball. He's gone on road trip. He sees what the culture is like literally his entire life, so he can kind of put himself seamlessly into this kind of an environment, and it's not going to be overwhelming for him.
100%. I mean, growing up in a locker room, I mean, not too many get to do that, right? And I saw the same thing with Tony Jr. And, they know how to act. They know how to conduct themselves. They know how to talk to people, right? They know how to be respectful. And then, he'd tell stories, Junior Belt would tell stories about his dad and be like, hey, make sure you're not getting in the way of Prince Fielder. Make sure he gets his work in. And so there was always that respect factor and know how to play on the field and how you conduct yourselves on the field. And that's a huge leg up, And I mean, to be able to put yourself in that position to now pay that forward now as a player, he can kind of rub off on other guys too and take a leadership role, which is pretty exciting.
When you see a player go through what he did, like with Drake, and having to sit out but also take on a different role as that player coach, what did you learn about him through that kind of style of him?
Our relationships just got stronger, and I think it's a big deal as this program is built off leadership, teaching young men, 33, 34 guys that we have on the team to be leaders, right? Whether you're leading the whole team, whether you're leading a group of guys, and leadership is extremely hard, right? It's extremely hard. You're going to make tough decisions. Peer-to-peer leadership is tough, having hard conversations, but really encouraging our guys to be able to do that. It helps them for life, but it also helps them within the game of baseball. He did an exceptional job of that, and I think he learned a lot because he couldn't help on the mound. So he was trying to give everything he could help, whether it was the bullpen, teaching different grips, helping guys with school, helping guys with learning to persevere and be team guys. And I mean, he gives a whole presentation on the chatter in the dugout. He just did a couple days ago, a 20-minute thing. He goes over a full 2-page report on what we say in the dugout and how the positive remarks are and not yelling at the other team and, this and that. So it's like having another coach, and it's rare. We're never going to have a guy that's been a part of a program for 6 years. I don't want to say never, but it's going to be very rare to see. So I'm enjoying the last 6 months that we get to have together, and I'm super proud of the guy that he gets to go out there and really finish it off strong on the mound. He's been through a lot, and he works his rear end off, and I'm super excited about seeing him pitch this year.
That leadership can come from the bullpen, but now he's taking that to a starter role. What will that mean for the entire pitching staff?
Setting the tone. I think he mentioned it. He will be a weekend starter for us, and setting that tone for us right out of the gate. Everybody knows he's our leader. He is a true Torero. Obviously having that longevity, but how he acts as a man and how he goes about his business and his voice carries the way. And then with him taking that ball, probably on next Friday night, we'll set the tone for the Toreros in 26.
What's with the facial hair rule? You going Steinbrenner around us?
No, it's always been a thing. I think, it creates a little bit of habits. We talk about habits in our program, right? Obviously you want to be the best baseball player, but I want you to be the best student. I want you to be the best person. And it's about how you present yourself. If you look at our guys, they're very well dressed. They're professional. They'll look you in the eye. They'll have a conversation with you. And I think it separates them, from the rest, and having them have that discipline every day is huge, And I got it from my old mentor, Coach Marquis, the late Coach Marquis, unfortunately just passed a couple days ago. But getting to learn from him and coach with him up at Stanford for 6 years really laid that foundation. And I know he had a lot of great players that came along the way. So, it's more than just baseball, but it's that discipline, that structure.
What is the rule, and what was the change that?
So it was always clean shaven. And I went and made a trip out to the Cape this summer, and I'm always open for ideas. So I love giving the challenge to the players with that, and Drake brought up 2 ideas. Let's bring the alumni game back, and hey, Coach, how about a mustache roll? Hey, everything's always up for a negotiation, absolutely. But everybody better make sure the sides are cleaned up and looking sharp, and I'm good with that if we can hold that standard.
So you're getting a little soft in middle age.
Darn it, no. There's always parameters in place. Yeah.
Honest opinion on the Raleigh Fingers look.
I love it. I was already thinking about, God, we might have to make a shirt for the guy, So.
Charlotte is an interesting place to start the season. I understand it's been very cold there. Any regrets on either side about not playing here?
I think we're blessed. We've been luckily been able to practice for the last 3 weeks, where a lot of people haven't been able to do that. As you look across the country, shoveling snow off the field, you name it. So I always want our guys to be challenged, right? Going 3,000 miles away, that's one challenge. Get on a plane, starting on the road right out of the gate, it's a challenge. And it gets a really good program. They've won, 34, 35 games over the last couple of years, well coached, a good mid-major opponent. So I think it's going to be a great challenge for us, especially playing some cold conditions. And Hey, when you got a bunch of Southern California boys and used to playing in this weather all the time, they need a little challenge for the long season ahead.
It's rare an NCAA caliber, tournament caliber team goes on the road, period, to start, but then goes all the way across the country to start. Was that something you were like, I want a challenge, but trying to find the one that will actually take a game with us to get that challenge?
100%. And then getting out of the region, too, is big for RPI, as you guys know, college athletics, basketball, baseball, you name it. Getting out of the region and getting on the road can really boost it and help that RPI. I mean, our schedule, again, is tough as ever. We've got Michigan coming in for 3. We got Oregon State, who's in Omaha last year, coming in for 3. We go to Cal. So playing the Power 4 schools and you beat them a couple times, you win some of those games, your resume looks good, along with hopefully winning that WCC title at the end of the year. So being out of region is big, and going on the road is big for us. And absolutely, there's a method to the madness with the schedule.
What are the odds? Well, how good do you have to be to host a regional here? And the facility's good enough.
Yeah, I think it's those quad 1 wins, and it's the opponents that you play, and I think if you show consistency outside of your conference and dominating your conference, then you're going to put yourself in position to do that, like we were 2 years ago. I mean, we were right there and had some really good wins against Texas, Michigan, and had a good non-conference slate, and maybe just one more win against Arizona would have tipped the iceberg for us to host. And hey, anything is possible. And if we just keep focused on playing San Diego baseball and taking care of what we can, I think our schedule puts us in that position.
How do you go about scouting a team like Charlotte? What's your typical process for that?
First weekend is always, you never know, right? It's like anything, opening weekend in Major League Baseball and college football, if you will, to any sport, right? So you kind of go in, and I know they have a lot of transfers already, just kind of what the coaching staff has already looked at. But if we can focus on our strengths and go in with how we play, right? San Diego baseball, which is a little unique style. That opening weekend, there's going to be some really awesome things that happen and some crazy things that happen, and really focus on what we can control in our strengths. I think that'll really help us.
Anything else for Coach?
Hearing Drake and Adrian's comments about grittiness, about the culture here, is there any distinct message from yourself and your coaching staff heading into your season opener?
Enjoy the ride. It's the time of your life. Play for one another. Interlock arms. We have a strong brotherhood. And really appreciate the moment that you get to be on that field with one another and have the time of your life. That's it.